this is what we're going to start with. This is a video by Grumpy Eye, and just so you know, I don't play favorites. I'm skipping this ad too. So, let's talk about Star Citizen and being a full loot PvP. Let me know if audio is good and you can hear me over the
hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about what I just started to we got to go to the news. There's breaking news. All right, roll it.
Breaking news, hosted by Grumpy Eye.
We are very sorry to interrupt the regular program, but we have some breaking news about Star Citizen's new patch update. We're going to be talking to our longtime correspondent, Ben Dover, that is at the scene right now. Ben, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So what is the state of 318?
Shit's fucked.
Oh, is that bad? Thank you so much, and now back to the regular program.
Shit's fucked. Yeah, 318 too is not in a good spot. But we're gonna skip past that. That's a discussion for another day. Skip.
Roll the intro.
Hello, my name is Grumpy. Grumpy Eye.
Alright, so before we start off talking about the main topic of this video, I just wanted to say this. I was not live
Yeah, he's
for a
been
while.
having
I did not post any
PC
videos
problems.
for a while, and there's a reason for it. My PC died, and thank you to all the patrons, and thank you to all the people that donated some money to help me out. I'm still like knee deep in depth because of the PC, so all the donations are gonna like go into that because yeah. Also, I gotta think of something to get some food into my stomach. But I mean, I am fat, so I might as well just like lose some weight. Yeah, but yeah, that's why I wasn't there. Also, I know that a bunch of people were saying,
Force fasting.
Where's Grumpy now that everything is broken? I mean, do I need to open your eyes and tell you that everything is broken? Because as I've said at the start, shit's fucked, and yeah, there's like no way around it. It is what it is. It's probably gonna get worse before it gets better.
He's not
much
wrong.
Worse, but
He's not
yeah,
wrong.
We'll see. Anyway, the main topic of this video is going to be something that I actually touched upon during one of my live streams, and you can watch the video or the VOD of that here. It's just like a clip, a stream clip of like 20 minutes, I guess. And it's me reviewing a video of Josh. I forgot the name, sorry. But it is a really good video. Sorry that I forgot the name. I probably just have it on the screen.
It's a really good video.
Yeah, the video itself talks
really
about
good video.
why full loot MMO games are not ever going to be successful. And Star Citizen wants to be just that. So I started thinking, and that's never good, and I realized that Citizen...
Freudian slip.
Wow, that just like came out on its own. So as I was saying, Star Citizen is trying to be that, but I don't think that it should
Yes,
be
it is.
that game.
And
I tell you why in a
I'm
second.
rethinking
but
that.
Before we do that, before I tell you, you need to understand what a full loot MMO is. So practically just get DayZ into an MMO kind of a game. So DayZ...
There's a few other games that he could have brought up, but this is the one that he's been playing a lot. He's been playing it far more than I have. You should see what he's done with the base, but that aside, he's going to explain what full loot PvPs are. To a point, he's correct, but he does miss a few things.
I've been playing a lot of it in the past month, and I love the game. It's fucking amazing. But here's the thing with AZ. You collect loot, and then like you spend 5 days collecting loot, maybe even building your own base, and you have even more loot there. Maybe you have a second base, even more loot there, blah blah blah. And then you get raided and all the loot is gone, and then you get killed, and everything on your person, or like your whole character, all the armor, everything is gone because you got looted. And that's what full loot means. And if you're not scared already,
and in some games, when you respawn, you have to pay death taxes or death penalties. There's a variety of things that that are detrimental that could be involved in a full loot PvP, other than just losing your gear or losing your vehicle, or, well, in Star Citizen, possibly losing your ship. But we'll get on to that more.
let me just show you a brief clip of me destroying 4 guys, me and my friend Scar Citizen, destroying a couple of guys that got a truck, got a ton of loot and all of that, and we're trying to set up a base, but no, we just like stumbled upon them and we killed them, and they lost everything, and they never played on the same server.
Yeah, they never came back.
Did you see the movie? The series?
Yeah.
Well, that's the game. Oh my god. Oh my god, there's like fucking 4 guys. I dropped 1. Shit, they have like a vehicle that they're repairing. Holy shit, I did not expect this at all. Unpin, please. Thank you.
And just like this, in 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes.
Aiden. Well, that hurt me a bit.
Why?
See, and this is where you're going to get the whining and the toxicity.
Just leave me, please.
No, there's more of you.
This is where griefing is going to become even thrown around even more. A zombie, you just went in.
Alright, you want to enter both sides at the same time?
There's a zombie. Okay. A zombie just went in there.
There's them firing. You okay?
They're upstairs.
Nice. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. They hit me a couple of times, but I'm good.
Is that it?
Just like that.
Yeah,
just like that.
Dude, we got them all. Got them all. Is that you upstairs? Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's me.
Holy shit.
And just like that,
Well, we
it's
just
over.
fucking got a lot
And
of
it's
loot.
over. It's not stream sniping stuff. This is...
And the truck. Oh my god.
Damn, Grumpy, how many videos or commercials you got?
So here's the thing. Those guys probably spent the whole day or maybe even 2 days trying to get a vehicle, trying to get all the loot, and trying to set up a base. And they lost it like this. The whole engagement lasted for like 2 minutes. Sometimes, I mean, you will die in a second or 4 seconds and everything will be gone.
Which is true. Because later on, like 3 days later, I wasn't streaming, I wasn't recording. There was an airdrop that came down and we went to go and pick it up. I got out of the driver's side. I got out of the driver's side or the passenger side door, and I took a round. I went to jump to the other side of the truck, which was what I thought would be safe. And then I ended up, the guy repositioned, and I took another round to the head, and that was it. It was over. Total time out of the truck, 15 seconds. And Grumpy couldn't figure out where he was, so he had to leave my body. I lost everything. Was I upset? Not really, because it's part of the game. What I think is going to end up upsetting me about Star Citizen, if it ends up becoming a full loot PvP game. Now, granted, a few weeks ago I said I wanted Star Citizen to be more hardcore, but after some recent events and me sitting there and thinking about it for quite a while, work was slow today, I already have to spend 45 minutes to an hour prepping a ship after I buy it. You know, buying coolers and power plant, shields, guns, the whole thing. I don't know if I'm willing to dedicate that much time to having to recollect all of that stuff, rebuy all of that stuff, or as we're going to talk about later, re-loot all of that stuff, even for my ship. Look, granted, I know the risks that are involved in DayZ. I understood them. I weighed the time to play versus the time to gather. And that game, I can recover everything I lose within a matter of a half an hour to 2 hours, depending on how the loot drops that day. I can have it all back. I may not have the exact same gun, but I can get the armor, the boots, the helmet, a decent gun, and a few backup things. Peace out, JT. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. Very quickly, and not very quickly, but within a few hours, I can get that stuff. But I know the risk and I know the rewards. Star Citizen is still in an alpha. Star Citizen wants to be a full loot PvP. As I just said, it could take me 6 hours or it could take me 2 weeks to gather the stuff up I need to get where I want to be in Star Citizen. And if I lose it quickly, I don't know if I want to spend that 6 hours to 2 weeks to recollect everything that I had again. You know, this is still speculation. I don't know if it's going to go this way. I'm not sure. But as a full loot PvP, and I'm sure Grumpy's going to touch on it in a little bit, you're going to lose a majority of the player base that is a casual player or is a Care Bear or is a PvE only kind of guy or a solo player. You're going to lose a large majority of your player base just based off of that alone. So, you know, CIG has to walk a very fine line, in my opinion, as far as time put in versus the risk versus the reward. Because if I and other casuals, I hate to say this, but after thinking long and hard about this, I am not a hardcore Star Citizen guy. I am a casual guy. Why is that? I can only spend 2 hours here, 2 hours there, 2 hours here, and then maybe Friday and Saturday hit, and maybe I can get 4 to 5 hours in. You know, that's not a whole lot of time to dedicate to a game, especially if they're going to go full loot and the star systems are going to be as big as they are, the travel times as long as they are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But let's let Grumpy finish.
Done in like less than a minute. So why am I saying this? The reason is simple. You know what happens whenever there's like PvPing. You know about the G word, I mean the griefer word, and it's like thrown around like crazy in the Star Citizen community. And the reason is because, well, you can see that most of my viewers and most of all the viewers of all the content creators are like 30 to 45 years old. Now, I'm not saying that is bad. I'm 35 years old myself, but the issue is, well, most of us, yes, we have steady jobs. Well, most of you guys that have steady jobs.
Not you,
I'm
Grumpy.
a YouTuber, so yeah, go figure. And a bunch of people have families. I don't currently have a family. I don't have kids, so I'm good. I can play DayZ. I can spend some time and play and build my base.
Time. That was the key word. It's the time. I am willing to play a full loot PvP game if the time, and I said it before, if the time versus the risk versus the reward is balanced. If Star Citizen's time versus risk versus reward isn't balanced, then it's not going to be for me. But this, once again, this is all speculation. I don't know if this is going to change. I don't know how it's going to change. But for a lot of people, I think the writing is coming, or the writing on the wall is starting to become more and more clear.
and do a lot of stuff and make videos for you guys, but at some point I will have kids, and that changes a person a lot, and you just don't have enough time to invest into a game. So why people are getting pissed off right now is because they like lost 2 hours setting up, going to Jumpdown and asking if Jumpdown is friendly, and
JT is never friendly.
Jumpdown is not friendly because it's not supposed to be friendly, because it's a PvP event, which for some reason a lot of people tend to not understand, and then they stop playing Star Citizen, or they just don't play it for a while, or they just go into global chat and
they call you a griefer.
Yeah, there's like a lot of F words, and I even got an N word, honestly. And I mean, whoever PvP'd in Star Citizen probably knows.
Oh, I know about the salt.
Are capable of saying in a global chat about them. So yeah, that's gonna happen, and that's happening right now in Star Citizen, even though it's a broken mess, even though it's an alpha, even though nothing really matters. You're just spending your time, and yeah, you're just wasting your time basically trying to do some things, and you go to Jumptown and then you die. So why am I saying this? Well, for example, like the video that I just showed you with DayZ, we got all the loot, we got a truck, and we held it for like maybe a week. We got even more loot. We had like a huge ass base, and then we got raided, and we lost.
It was
everything,
all
every
gone.
single thing. And I didn't stop playing, but a bunch of people would, and that's what happens with full loot PvP games. And yeah, if it's an MMO, there's even more chance of you getting looted, of you getting raided.
Star Citizen with server meshing wants it to be like 1,000 to 10,000 people per system. So if you could imagine an area like Stanton with 1,000 to 10,000 people in it, and we'll say 80% friendly players and 20% mean players, you're looking at anywhere between 200 and 2,000 people that are going to come after you. And in a system that small or that big, or however you want to call it, when you introduce 1,000 to 10,000 players, there's not going to be very many safe places left in that system. So once again, I need to know what are the risks versus the rewards versus the time put in. And we'll see what happens. We'll end up seeing what happens with Star Citizen. But full loot PvPs, you have to know what you're getting into before you get into it. As I've said multiple times here, time versus risk versus reward. If they don't balance out, then the game probably isn't for you.
And if you didn't know, like I don't think most people know, Star Citizen wants to be just like that. Star Citizen wants to be a realistic simulation of a space game, blah blah blah. And it's the same with DayZ. DayZ is super realistic. It basically does not want you to play it. It will kill you. Like around the corner, you like get attacked by a bear, or you might get like food poisoning, or you might poison yourself trying to drink some water, etc., etc., etc. And you will constantly die until you understand how the mechanics work and how to play that game. With Star Citizen, it's going to be a bit different. You're going to have like simulators and all of that. That's the idea, at least. But in the end, we are going to have Death of a Spaceman. And if you do not know what Death of a Spaceman is, you should Google it. I'm going to tell you a bit about it. But on top of that,
before he gets too far, currently in its state right now, Star Citizen does attempt to kill you for playing the game, whether it's a bug, whether it's a glitch, whether it's a 30K, whether it's you falling through the planet, you're falling through a building, you hit quantum on your spaceship and you fall out, or the very infamous, you got into the seat of a Cuddy Black and it starts killing you. Or my favorite is laying on a med bed and the guy that grabs it starts dying. So once again, I don't think Star Citizen is ready to be a full loot PvP for quite a long time. I'm not sure if the general gaming population of Star Citizen is ready for Star Citizen to be a full loot PvP. We'll see what happens further on down the line, but I don't think the general pop of Star Citizen wants it to be a full loot PvP. nor will stay if it's a full loot PvP.
We have base building, and we sure will have base raiding. Now, we are not really that close to like base building, but Death of a Spaceman is like, it's just around the corner basically. And
it really seems that way.
Like they didn't still really figure it out, but it all like ties in with the medical gameplay and all of that. And the point is, you die 5-10 times, and your like character cannot regenerate anymore. Your DNA or whatever is broken, and you like your character is dead, like done, kaput, done. And then the only thing that you can do is have a next of kin. So that like next of kin is going to get most of the things that you had, but not all of it. So you are going to lose some ships, you are going to lose a bunch of loot, you are going to lose a bunch of like components and items, etc, etc. So why is that important? Because after a bunch of those deaths, you will be back at zero. Also, you will like lose money and all of that, which like it goes without saying, right? Also, with the addition of base.
Yeah, he didn't touch on it, but when you die, like when you die, according to Death of the Spaceman, you get hit with a death tax. And depending on how much money you have versus what the death tax is, and he also said that you're going to lose components. Well, if you also read Death of a Spaceman, there are things on your ship that are going to deteriorate, they are going to break, they are going to have issues with them. You have to repair them. You have to spend money on this. You have the death tax, etc., etc., etc. You can take out loans, and or when you respawn as next of kin, you can be in what Star Citizen calls the debtor system. And if you're in the debtor system, and it clearly says in the Death of a Spaceman, if you're in the debtor system, you cannot use any of the station amenities. You're locked out until you pay. Now, with loans that they're talking about, and also Death of the Spaceman, if you go negative while you still have a loan out, you have to make payments on it. If you go negative on those loans, you go into the debtor system, and same thing applies. You cannot use any amenities at any of the space stations until you have paid off your debt, in which case you can then use the amenities. But if you're in that big of financial trouble that you're taking out loans and you find yourself into the debtor system, at that point, I hate to say it, but you may as well just backspace a few times to get to next of kin again. But, you know, once again, how much are you going to lose? How much more disrepair are those ships going to be in? How many components are going to be missing? What armor is going to be gone? What guns, etc., etc., etc. So once again, I'm going to say it. I don't think the general population of Star Citizen is ready for a full loot PvP, nor are they ready for Death of a Spaceman. It's something that's been swept under the rug. I've brought it up in not my Discord nor Marcus's Discord, but I've brought it up in other people's Discords, and they just wipe it away like it's not going to be that big of a deal. And it really seems like now, see, I thought, oh, they're going to change it. They're going to change it. They're going to change it. There's no way CIG is going to let Death of a Spaceman come out as it's written, because half their player pop is going to leave. It doesn't seem like they're changing it. So, you know, you Star Citizen players, you better be ready. You better be, I'm ready. I don't know if I'll be there when it happens, but you guys better be ready. Okay. Here's the thing with the spaceships. If you paid IRL for a ship, it doesn't matter if it was $50 or it was one of the $3,000 ships. If you do not have an LTI token and you have standard insurance, whether you bought it for a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever it is, if you are clumsy enough and or stupid enough to take that ship out with no insurance and it gets blown up, you do in fact lose it. It is in the TOS. I don't have multiple screens to be clicking and dragging stuff all over the place, but it was brought up in One Nut's Discord, and the TOS was dropped in the Discord. If you take a pledge ship out with no insurance and it gets blown up, it's gone. You don't get it back. It's gone. Death of a Spaceman does not make sense in a video game. Not like this, especially when it's obvious that they have said that the medical, at least in the lore, that the medical stuff has gone this far. There should be no reason for it. But, you know, Christ Roberts does Christ Robert things.
Bases and base rating, you will need to hop in every day so you can check on your base, so you can make even more defenses. But for defenses, you will need to loot more. So then, like, the whole process is there. You loot, you make defenses, you loot, you store the loot, you loot, you make defense.
CIG would justify that by saying, and once again, this has also been discussed, but I cannot find where it's all located at. I should have done a better job before I got on here, but as I've told you all, my time is limited between a full-time job, kids, and whatnot, and I should have done a better job and maybe have just made a video in a week or two of this, but I thought it was important to discuss now. CIG is talking about being able to buy premium insurances as well. So you have your premium ships, aka pledge ships, and then you're going to have your in-game insurances, and then you're also going to go to the website and buy premium insurances for specific ships that you currently have in your hangar, which once again, this is all going to tie into live service, etc., etc., etc. And this is why when people tell me that Star Citizen is in alpha, I look at them kind of crazy and go, nah, this is a live service game. It may say alpha, it may be laden with bugs, but to me, the way that this game is handled, it's a live service game. You have patches coming out quarterly, even if it is 3.17 for a year, they had 0.1, 0.2 on down the line coming out almost every 3 to 4 months. So you have a fully working merchandise shop. You have a fully working macro transaction. Let's call it macro transaction because that's what the ships are. They're not micro transactions. They're macro transactions. And then you have all the little micro transactions that go along with it. You know, ship paint here, a flare item here, you know, various different things in the pledge store. So to me, people call Star Citizen an alpha, but to me, I look at it as a not very well put together live service game. Correct. As much as they say that they're trying to be different, Mason, they're no better than any other video game agency other than EA or Blizzard or, you know, take your pick. This is all going to come down to money eventually. As I said, it's going to be a live service game. I would not be surprised if, let's fast forward the clock here and play pretend here. Let's say the game releases in 2026, right? Let's say the game releases in 2026. I would not be, and it's a full loot PvP. I would not be surprised, along with all the macro transactions, the micro transactions, and everything else I just listed, that with the player base leaving with Death of a Spaceman, full loot PvP, all of that, they do not add they will end up adding a subscription-based fee on top of everything else, because that will be the only way for them to keep this running, especially with all the things that they want in it. You know, 100 systems, 10,000 players per system, or 1,000 to 10,000 players per system. You know, all the extra ships that they want in there, you know, everything that they've ever talked about in this. They will have to end up having a subscription-based fee as well if they keep this full loot PvP, if they keep this the way that the Death of a Spaceman and everything else that they've discussed. Too many people will leave and the money will dry up faster than they think. This is my prediction and my opinion, not theirs, not Grumpy's, not anybody else's. This is my prediction. This is my opinion. If it doesn't happen and they don't keep it full loot PvP and Death of a Spaceman gets knocked down and is a somewhat more tame animal, then I don't see that happening. But for right now, well, yes, they do have a subscription service, but it's kind of, you don't need it to have access to the game. Like if you were to go back Like if you were to go and play WoW, not only do you pay the, I don't know how much it costs now, and we're talking World of Warcraft, or back in the day, what were some of the other games that I played? Conan, I forget the Conan online game, and Champions Online, and I'm trying to think of some, like all the massive MMORPGs had, you bought the game for the $60 and you paid a monthly subscription fee as well. It was anywhere between $9.99 up to $24.99 a month. So you bought the game and you paid a subscription fee monthly just to play the game. I do see them eventually getting that way. Oh yes, I agree, Marcus, and I understand. But yeah, I do see them going that way eventually, possibly.
Blah blah blah. You're making your base bigger and bigger and bigger, hoping that nobody will raid it, but you will get raided because it's an MMO and because it's how the game is supposed to work.
There's always bigger fish out there.
Full loot PvP MMO is. Now some people would say, well, yeah, that's awesome, that's how it should be, right? But no, actually most players are casual gamers, and if you watch the video that I told you to watch at the start of this video, you would know why, and like the figures do not lie. Most people are just like casual players, and you are probably a casual player as well. So
more than likely,
if you're 25 and above and you don't still have a family, just think about it. And I'm not saying don't play Star Citizen, don't invest into Star Citizen, but think about the future of Star Citizen and what it's supposed to be like. And do you really want to invest your time, your money, blah blah blah, into a game that like 10 years down the line, once you have a family, or if you have a family right now, you're going to be even older, I guess, yeah, like 10 years down the line,
Joe, how you doing, man?
And it's going to be a full loot PvP MMO. Do you like that? Do you like that idea? Do you really think that it's a good idea? I don't. I honestly don't. And I can tell you, in all
I don't think
honesty,
Star Citizen
that,
is
right now,
should
I want
be
to play that game. But 10 years down the line, I'm not really sure that I will be playing a game like that. And the reason why I'm making this video is not only to raise awareness, but also there's like a proverb here in Serbia. It goes "bolje sprečiti nego lečiti," which would roughly translated mean it's better not to get a disease than to cure it. So what I'm saying with that is, well, I know for a fact, and if you watch the video, you would know that most gamers are just like casual gamers, casual players.
So I want to piggyback off of what he said a couple of seconds ago about, do you want to play a full loot PvP? Should it be a full loot PvP, and everything else that he just said? I think it shouldn't just be, and I've said it at least 5 times already, I don't think it should be, do you want a full loot PvP or do you want to play a full loot PvP? It should be, if you want to play a full loot PvP, does the time versus the risk versus the reward, is it balanced enough for you and your lifestyle for you to play? That should be the question. And the answer to that is for yourself. It really is. It's for yourself. I can't determine how much time you have. I can't determine how much, as Marcus would say, big PP energy you have, because full loot PvPs, you have to have that big PP energy. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about with big PP energy is, do you have the persistence and the perseverance to keep playing a full loot PvP when you get killed, when your base gets raided, and all the other possibilities that may happen in a full loot PvP. So that's the question you should be asking yourself. And I agree, Marcus, it should be, Star Citizen is better off as a space exploration game with mixed PvP, because I think the more you delve into the full loot things, the more you start cutting off your consumer base.
And that's why full loot PvP MMOs are not that successful, and that's why Star Citizen will not be successful and the project might die. But I believe that Star Citizen will not die because the developers will realize that they are making a huge mistake.
Grumpy, not to pull a Grumpy, but you're talking about Star Citizen devs. Do you really think that they're going to back off of that? I I don't know. I'm borderline want to call them stupid because sometimes I really, really wonder about them.
And I'm pretty sure that that will happen after the community has a meltdown
Oh, and they
because
will.
of the news.
They will.
Like, once they break it to us, once they tell us, okay, this is coming now in the next patch, base rating, base building, death of a spaceman, you will lose all of that, then I'm pretty sure that the community will be really pissed off. And then CAG will need to make some changes, like most of the MMO developers did, and then the game might die because it will be like in a limbo of people not knowing what's happening, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to predict the future. I'm just saying it's better not to go down that route and do something better and do something else and something innovative or whatever than to go down the route which a bunch of games already tried and died trying to do that.
New world.
That is it for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and thank you to all my patrons for supporting my channel, and thank you to all the channel members. Thank you to all the people that are donating during these videos through chat or through like, I don't know, during my streams and all of that. Thank you so much, because this PC is super fucking expensive.
So I'm not gonna keep him going any longer, but I think it would be a mistake for Star Citizen to go full loot PvP.